Welcome back to Vampire Survivors, and today it's time to limit break the most broken limit break weapon in this game, being Gorgeous Moon. Now, today this happens for a different reason. I was on Reddit, I saw a post of someone saying to the guy who said something about level 1000 in 30 hours, and then he showed a screenshot of him in 30 minutes hitting level 10,059. But it turns out he used 6k golden eggs, and if you do that, then like you could just go for infinite golden eggs, right? Like, what's the point of doing that? So what we are doing here, we are not using 1000 or anything like that. We are doing this the manly way with 0 golden eggs. In fact, they are straight up turned off. We don't have them active, as you can see. No stats are altered, you will also see it on the end screen. Nothing. Now, sadly, I'm currently in editing, okay, because this is what I sounded like in the game. Don't really know what happened there. Okay, something got messed up with the sound, so I'll try to explain everything. Pretty much what I'm doing is, we have to become invulnerable, okay? And for this we need to have level 7 Laurel and Empty Tome at a higher level, at least 87% cooldown reduction, 87.5, to be invulnerable. And this is mandatory. If you don't get this, there are enemies in the game that can't be killed with Pentagram or with Gorgeous Moon, and they will kill you. Now, you could say use NFT, but their HP is multiplied with our level, and if you have like level 10,000, you can imagine that will never be killed by an NFT. So what I'm doing now is we go to the next rosary, the boss is about to spawn, we have to avoid this boss with a pentagram blast that is about to happen, so I'm trying to push him out of the screen because pentagram only affects everything on the screen. Now he sneaks back into bottom left, yeah, we are running away, and we didn't kill him. That means now we can use the rosary over there, also good that we didn't erase that, and get a chest. Yeah. That's what happened, okay? If that wouldn't have happened, and if we got a little bit more lucky with pentagram blasts, we could have actually evolved the weapon already at 3 minutes and would have had a major achievement, but it's fine, you know, not everything always goes right. But yeah, now I'm running back up. What I'm doing is I need as much experience as possible to level up the pentagram a bit, but this is in conflict with, do I want to be invulnerable, or do I want to max out pentagram that it actually doesn't wipe all of the experience? Like right now it has a 16% chance to not erase it, and we got giga unlucky because it always erased it. So my plan is walk up to the NFT, pick that up, and with that we can kill the 3-minute boss as well as a huge amount of enemies. But now imagine pentagram would have actually worked with me, I could have upgraded it, gotten way more experience, we could have actually wolfed it at 3 minutes. Now, if you know Vampire Survivors very well, then you'll probably ask, why didn't I start with the Fire Arcana that could have killed all of the enemies? And the issue is we need to reach the invulnerability, okay? So if we don't take Silent Old Sanctuary, then we would need to take it at 11 minutes, but we will permanently level up, and if you've ever been in that situation, you actually can't open up any chests. It's straight up impossible, okay? You can't do it. It will just get queued up until you're done leveling up, but you level up forever. So that was it. That means Silent Old Sanctuary needs to be in here. Doesn't matter that we die, by the way, totally fine. Once we are invulnerable, we don't need revivals. Now the boss at 25 minutes that is immune to the erase of the pentagram or the moon, to the insta-kill, is not the only problem, because the enemies eventually will have so much curse they just walk in, break the shield and kill me. Now here we have a chest, and I could have made a decision to keep this on the floor because the next one will be at 5 minutes, but I decided I need to go somewhere else and I need to upgrade the pentagram, because this way I'll get way more experience. And I couldn't rely on the blasts. You know, if at least one blast would have given me experience, this would have been a different story, but none of them did. So I set myself the goal, get pentagram to a level that it's less likely that it will erase and instead kill, and then we become invulnerable, that we can't end up dying, because it's actually, you know, a little bit wonky. Ah, that was a good blast. Finally, it's level 5. So at level 5, it's way more likely that you keep the experience. At level 7, it's guaranteed. It's slightly above 100%, like 104% or so. There you go, we achieved it. That means every single time it goes off now, we get everything. Now I'm walking back down. Did you notice something in the very beginning? Usually, okay, I'm walking down, I walk back up. Dex, can you work with me, please? I don't know what I'm doing there. So did you notice something in the very beginning? Usually, when we get on a stage, and this is an inverse stage, okay, it doesn't look like it because it's not upside down, but it is indeed an inverse stage because the color is different. There's a merchant. This merchant has an additional arcana for us. What could the arcana be that I want to go for? Think about it. Well, before we get to that, there we go, Pentagram is maxed out, and are you ready for Gorgeous Moon? Now I did a joke here where I was like, yeah, I expected Boogaloo of Illusions and I still did it, so I'll do it again, okay? Are you guys ready for Gorgeous Moon? And yeah, it wasn't as great as Boogaloo, okay? But it's what we can do with it, okay? It's the only thing we can do right now. By the way, do you want to hear what it sounds like with the current voice issues there? Yeah, doesn't sound so great, does it? But now it's time to pick up the second Arcana, and once you see that, you'll understand why I chose exactly what I did here and I didn't go for any other Arcana. I think this is now the moment where I just talked about the Arcana in the game, so that's quite fitting. And I'll give a little bit of a spoiler, okay? It will be Wicked Season. Why do we need that? If you don't have Wicked Season, you don't permanently level up. There are like gaps in between, and I never really got to the point where I would infinitely level up without it. So that means we should make up for the loss in time. However, it just really sucks that everything got delayed. Yeah, we could have easily had this 2 minutes earlier, but there we go, we are set. Okay, amazing. So now we gain growth, like we gain bonus growth every 2 level ups. We also gain bonus luck and stuff like that, but we don't care about that. Also curse, this one we care about, but no longer because we are invulnerable. And now we will start leveling up infinitely. Okay, that doesn't mean we'll start just, you know, some level ups and then some level ups and some level ups, but very quickly this will turn into infinite level ups. It never stops because every single time we get +1 amount, the Gorgeous Moon gets bonus experience with the blast, not the big boom, just a little ding 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 ding. You know, this one gets more experience and we also increase the growth that we are getting. So eventually this will be tied to our frame rate. Okay, every 4 frames you can level up once in this game. It means the laggier it gets, the longer it takes. But yeah, watch this. Okay, let's just take a look at this. So right now it starts ramping up. What happens is every single time you limit break a weapon, it re-triggers the weapon attack. And this is why we start ramping this up more and more and more. Like every single time we just get like 1 or 2 level ups more. But that means we had like 7 triggers, then 8 triggers, then 10 triggers, then like 12 triggers, then 15, then 18, it keeps going. And the more triggers are around, the more permanent the level ups will be. Except for some weird situations where Gorgeous Moonblast didn't really kill the enemies, and you will see that later on with a lot of curse, which I don't really understand. I think the enemies have vulnerability while they spawn, like after they spawn or so. I don't get it, but doesn't this look amazing? How they just get pushed back and all of them die. And now we are in the permanent level up territory. So that means we are pretty much done with this, and I would just like to talk about a small thing, okay? Where was Vampire Survivors? Because I haven't uploaded in quite a while and only infrequent. The reason is quite simple. I have like almost 1000 videos on this game. I am out of my motivation. That doesn't mean I have anything against the game, okay? And maybe one day I will return to more frequent videos, but right now I want to move on to other things. I will still do all the update videos because I'm excited about them and I'm looking forward to them. Okay, don't worry about that. But just Vampire Survivors itself, I am done. So I'm asking you, my viewers, for a little favor. Please give the other games a chance, okay? I have over 50 games on this channel that we have played, and we always play some other games. We had insanely successful games in there, like Potato, Halls of Torment, Death Must Die, and I totally understand that someone says, dude, I came here for Vampire Survivors, you're the Vampire Survivors guy, I don't want to watch anything else. I totally get that. If you really don't want to, I'm just asking, give them a chance. Right now I'm doing Pesticide Not Required, a really interesting game because it combines pretty much Stardew Valley and Vampire Survivors. You know, you can mine, you can fish, you can harvest crops, you know, for experience and for gold, all of this stuff, but while playing a horde survival and killing the enemies. And we actually got to a point where we kind of broke the game. Even the developer was in chat there and said like, dude, please stop breaking my tiny game. Because there's an achievement where you need to get to level 90, and honestly, it's quite hard to do that. And we got to like level 180. Then we also have runs with max attack where we reach 1000, that's the maximum in the game. And 1000 attack size, the entire screen covered weapons, huh? Boogaloo of Illusions is calling. But yeah, it's a really fun game. Please give it a chance. If you don't want to, then I hope to see you soon in the future on update videos. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, what do we talk about, right? I guess the people that wanted to skip already skipped, so I think those that are still here, they just want to see the mayhem and how fast we level up. We are almost level 4000 at 10 minutes, that is insane. My guess was we'll reach level 32,000, but I'll not spoiler that right now what we reached, in case you haven't seen it on the thumbnail. Okay, so you can still guess, you know, will we hit it, will we not, how much will we reach exactly? But yeah, there I showed that we picked up the chest, you know, nothing happened to showcase why the Arcana wouldn't work to get that. And you may notice, for a while now, the enemies are rushing in quite far. Isn't it a little bit weird, because we can see the animation of Gorgeous Moon popping off like the big boom. Okay, sometimes it breaks, like sometimes it takes a pause for a short moment, but this doesn't really make sense because it one-shots everything on the screen, so how is there even stuff walking in? But especially on Curse, what happened in the past was they constantly broke the shield and then they killed me. And yeah, there was even a death like right on 11 minutes where I thought I almost had it. Though to be fair, I didn't know that I actually needed the Silent Old Sanctuary to do this entire thing. I forgot that I was constantly leveling up, so yeah, even I forget that stuff, okay? But all is looking good. We just reached level 5000 at 10 minutes 50. Yeah, these are our stats, by the way. Normal level break run, right? Huh? Normal level break run. Now, I want you to keep in mind, okay, what am I doing? I'm talking about something. I want you to keep in mind, Crimson Shroud was so far the highest damage limit break weapon as far as I remember. It was at around 86G, I think. And this weapon here will easily top that. And you know what? Let's go back in time a bit and talk a bit about the history of Pentagram, why I hate it. And maybe then we'll also switch over to Garlic, because there it was exactly the other way around. So why would I ever hate on Pentagram? Because it's actually a beloved weapon, like Attract Op for example, that's also one I hated, people love it. The thing is, I don't want to tell anyone how to play the game. Play it however you have fun. Very important. But with Pentagram it was different. In the early days of Vampire Survivors, when I started playing and I saw this weapon, I was like, dude, this is amazing. And Moon didn't exist yet, okay? I wanted to make it work. I could never ever make it work. The issue is, even in the best case scenario where you have enough luck that it wouldn't destroy everything, the weapon only goes off every like 30 seconds. That means every 30 seconds all the enemies die, then they all respawn, and 5 seconds later they are on top of you again. But now Pentagram is on cooldown. So you're waiting 25 seconds with only 5 weapons that you can fight with, because the other one fell asleep, okay? That's horrible, just think about it. So a couple of people thought that Pentagram is OP because it had insane damage numbers, but there was actually a bug in the game that when it hit the Drowner, when it hit the Stalker, or when it hit the Red Death even, then it would just take their entire HP and account it as damage. Which is not really right, because it's more of a special effect, you know, like Rosary, it's not really dealing the damage, and they have a huge amount of damage. 655k multiplied with your HP, that means the damage number shot up and everyone thought Pentagram is giga broken, but it wasn't. Now the moment Moon came by, this is where more people said, now I love Pentagram. It's a huge pain to go through, you know, you lose a lot of chests, you lose a lot of experience, which is just a downside. But Moon is amazing, right? Dex, you can't have something against this amazing weapon that we see right now. In a normal build with 6 weapons, it is comfort, but it has the same problem, it only goes off every 30 seconds. And after you're done leveling up and you don't really improve anymore, even with Limit Break, with 6 weapons, it's way too distributed to be actually good. The biggest issue is most of the main late game enemies, they multiply their HP with your current level. So in other words, that means if you can't outgrow them in strength with your level ups, you're doing something bad, because you make them stronger, but you can't keep up with that. So if you go too far, they are too strong and you can't kill them, you know. So I dislike that about the game, that it scales off your HP, but it's also the most dynamic way to keep up with the player without making it incredibly hard early on. Like, it's a really nice way of doing it, right? Like, the worse of a player you are, the less you level up because you don't know what you're doing, not insulting, like just saying a new player. They will have it easier, but someone who knows what they are doing, they will have a harder time, but it automatically means they don't get bored of the game that quickly. Like, they have to learn better choices to keep up. Moon is not one of them. Moon is not Moon is not one of them, okay? It's a beautiful weapon, okay? I love the sounds, I love the effect, but it just backfires so much. And the thing is, I was never really bothered by it. I was just like, I'll not use it, but people always said, Dex, take Pentagram, Dex, take Moon. Why would I take a weapon that wipes out my chest, go through pain, and then just end up with, like, suffering because I can't control the experience anymore, right? But people kept saying it, and I'm like, dude, why do you keep saying that? Like, especially on gold records. I actually don't think Moon existed back then. I'm not exactly sure. It may have already existed back when I did them. There was like a leaderboard in Vampire Survivors where you participated in records or quotation mark world records, and I was a huge fan of that, okay? And this actually goes back to the story of Garlic, okay? Garlic in the beginning, I actually hated the weapon. I have to admit it. I hated it. I've told the story a couple of times, but you may have not heard of it. I hated Garlic. And then one day, when I was working on gold records and I was still struggling with X-Stash, that was the one that he used at that time. He had the most luck in the game. He gets like plus 100%, which is insane. And you rely on gold drops and good chests that you get like penta chests and stuff like this. You wanted him, but he was weak. And the thing is, in gold records, you want to go for economy upgrades right away. So luck, growth, and gold. The earlier you can do that, the more money you'll earn. Especially the way it works with the breakables in the game, that you have to stay in one tile set. A tile set are these repeating things that happen. And if, like, the next tile set doesn't spawn any breakables, like the candelabras. Are they called candelabras? Yeah. The candelabras, to break them, they only spawn in your tile set. You want to stay there, out of vision range, then they spawn the fastest. And Garlic was the answer. Garlic was the answer all along. It carries you early game, later on you go for Heaven's Sword, you go for Laurel, you go for Clock Lancer to survive the longest because you keep breaking the breakables to get more gold when the Red Death is around. And this was the way. This was the time where my opinion on Garlic changed, because before that, keep in mind, old Vampire Survivors was very different. No limit break, no power growth, very limited in upgrades, weapons, and also the gold upgrades that you bought. So it was actually quite difficult to finish a run with the old weapons. Not like giga difficult, but it also wasn't super duper easy. And Garlic was a dead weapon. It increases the knockback the enemies take. Sure, it doesn't matter, they overrun you, because they push each other into you. And it increases the freeze, whatever you call it, decreases the freeze resistance of enemies. Also doesn't matter, you don't use Clock Lancer usually, you know? So it's like, use this slot, and then it changed to, you know what? That thing can farm up experience like crazy early on, to get you going, to get a set run, and the moment Limit Break came in, it got so much better. Now, to be fair, Song of Mana kinda replaced the role, because it does exactly the same thing, but the evolution hits everything, it knocks back, and it slows down the enemies. So ironically, exactly the things that Garlic like reduces the enemies on, that they take more knockback and get like freeze resistance, you know? It's kind of funny if you think about it, the mana jar. But yeah, point being, entirely shifted. Moon and Pentagram, still hate them. Still think they are a horrible weapon, one of the worst weapons in this game. Not only a huge downside, which I think is totally unreasonable. Like, why can it even erase anything if it's so bad of a weapon? But Moon forces you into experience, not good. Oh, I've talked so much about this right now that I totally missed that we reached level 10,000. I think this was at 14 minutes 45. Okay, now we'll take a look at when we reach level 20,000 to somehow guess the final level. And I think this is where I also say I don't think 32,000 will happen. But at the same time, at minute 25, okay, the boss will spawn and the boss is unkillable. Once we get there, a couple of times like paused because it looked like she was dead, but she actually wasn't. She just jumped around like crazy, so it was hard to see her. She's immune. Where's the problem? The ding 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 ding, you know, the fast bubbles that we do, they all focus her because she's the closest enemy, and that's wasted. That's also where all the amount is in to get bonus experience, that's just gone. But especially we can't one-shot the enemies anymore. Now that's only a problem if we don't already have enough experience to keep leveling up, and I think, as far as I remember, we mostly kept leveling up, actually I think the entire time. So it wasn't a problem, that's the point. It wasn't a problem. You know what I'm actually proud of? You don't know the final level yet, or maybe you've seen it, but the last time we tried this, do you remember that? On the day replan, then we went to the library, and I think on the day replan the highest level we reached was 19,000, but then we died because of, you know, bosses that we couldn't deal with and Laurel wasn't enough. Yeah, there we died. and we exceed this. I've like not played Vampire Survivors for a while in a challenging way, and I come back and we just immediately do that. Isn't that cool? Come on, like you know, it's a little bit cool that I'm beating the old decks that was fully into it, that was tinkering around for so long. And okay, to be fair, this took a little bit because I did other approaches, like I went for the Fire Arcana and the Bloodline Arcana first, then for the Fire Arcana and I wanted to go for Wicked Season, and then I wanted to go for Silent Old Sanctuary as the third one, and the moment it worked out, I realized, yep, I can't pick up the chest, so this run here followed. We did not only exceed the old record of 19,000, but that died, but we far exceeded it. Far exceeded it. Not even close. That's kind of insane. So I decided to make a bigger jump. We are now closing in on level 20,000. It won't take long. It's roughly at 22 minutes and 40 seconds, I think. As you can see, we are not leveling up as much as I would hope for, but the FPS is kind of holding up. Like, as I said, the lower the FPS, the less we level up. If it's 80, then we can level up 320 times per... No, wait, it's way less. If it's 80, we can only level up 20 times a second. Yeah, divided by 4. But there we go. Okay, we just hit it. That is huge. That is amazing, right? Yeah, but my goal was I wanted to hit 30,000. Okay. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can do that. So we are about to hit minute 25. This is where this spawns. Okay, that thing that has the whirling feet. And in this moment, I thought, wait a second. I can't see her anymore. What? You're not supposed to kill her, like the wiki says. Instant kills don't work on her, which makes a lot of sense, because I don't think on any of the 25-minute bosses they work. So I walked over here, and I wanted to stand on the candelabra, because I was so used to the Fire Arcana from the other runs. Whenever I got hit, it would just, you know, break the breakables, and that's how I knew I got hit, and that Laurel shield is decreasing. But it didn't get broken. And then I realized, oh, yeah, thanks, you don't have the Arcana, so nothing is happening. We only have 1 minute left, okay. The final wave, the issue why I don't want to continue it is, so what we could do is, we could just let it run out until all of the experience is consumed, which probably would take hours, to be honest. There must be so much experience in there that, like, I don't know, it would take years. The thing is, we could do it, but not here. Reason being, the Red Death spawns with disciples, with trainees, and they drop experience, so it will never stop, because that's actually enough, I think, to keep leveling up, or at least it would, like, make the result wrong, because we still gain bonus levels. It's pretty much these guys here, but in smaller, I think, and all of them are red, or something like that. But yeah, there we go, we are level 28,000. Isn't this Giga close? What am I talking about there with Silent Old Sanctuary? Probably about like another run, or that I like noticed that I didn't have the fire effect or whatever. Oh yeah, it took me a while to realize she's still there. But now you can see her more clearly because she doesn't really fit to the rest of the enemies. Yeah. So, 30,000, is it in there? 20 seconds, huh? I mean, I think it's safe to say it will not happen. It will not happen. It got really close to it though, and if we would have evolved the weapon at 3 minutes instead of 5, we actually would have had it. So, if you want to do that, feel free to do it, and then you get to achieve it first, at least before me. And there we go, level 29,055. Look at those stats. Look at those insane and ridiculous stats. So at this point I was thinking about whether I should just take this to like 30,000, that we just have to level, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like we deserved it. 5 seconds I gave myself to hit the Reaper in case it works. It didn't though, otherwise the damage would have been way bigger. And yes, 66 G, almost 10 times as much. And I was laughing because like the stuff is not loading because it was way too insane. Isn't this ridiculous though? Isn't this absolutely crazy? Like, sure, we also use Laurel, it's not a solo weapon, limit break, but isn't this absolutely mental? So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I get to see you on some other games like Pesticide Not Required, but if not, then maybe see you again in a Vampire Survivors update. Have a nice day, have a good time, and I'm out.